In a military-sanctioned research lab, a rat enters a cage in search of food, but becomes prey to an invisible predator, revealed only when blood stains its sharp fangs. Meanwhile, Dr. Sebastian Kane works late in his apartment, developing a formula to reverse invisibility. Taking a break, he spies on his neighbor changing clothes but grows frustrated when she shuts the blinds. Suddenly, he has a breakthrough and quickly tests it. Excited, he video calls his ex-girlfriend and colleague Linda McKay to share the discovery. During the call, he notices a man in Linda's bed, but she deflects his questions. Sebastian instructs Linda to prepare the invisible gorilla, Isabel, for testing. At the lab, Matt Kensington, Linda's secret boyfriend, fails to sedate Isabel before she escapes. Sebastian steps in, tranquilizing her successfully. Ignoring Dr. Sarah Kennedy's safety concerns, Sebastian injects Isabel with the serum. The gorilla convulses, flatlines, but is revived, becoming fully visible. Later, Sebastian lies to the Pentagon, claiming the reversal formula failed, leaving Linda and Matt stunned. Sebastian informs the Pentagon committee that the team is close to solving the invisibility reversal, but needs more time. Dr. Howard Kramer, his former mentor, praises Sebastian's brilliance, but warns him that the government will replace him if results aren't shown soon. Afterward, Sebastian tells Linda and Matt that he withheld their success. Fearing the military would seize control of their work, he proposes conducting a human trial without notifying the government. Matt protests, reminding Sebastian about rules and safety protocols, but Sebastian insists that following the rules will slow them down. He believes taking control of the project will give them a better chance at winning a Nobel Prize. Back at the lab, Sebastian announces to the team that they have clearance for human testing and reveals that he has volunteered as the first test subject. Seeing the team's doubts, Sebastian reassures them by pointing out their success with 7 apes over the last month, calling human testing the natural next step. He explains that he'll stay invisible for 3 days before attempting the reversal. On the day of the procedure, Matt tries to convince Sebastian to reconsider, but Sebastian remains determined. On the operating table, he insists on injecting himself with the serum, so Linda won't take any blame if things go wrong. As the serum enters his system, Sebastian feels a tingling that quickly turns into intense pain. His skin begins disappearing as his vitals spike. Carter Abbey, the team's EMT, prepares the defibrillator, but Sebastian's heart rate stabilizes before intervention is needed. He eventually loses consciousness as his body turns completely invisible. 17 hours later, Sebastian wakes up and complains about the lights, realizing he can't close his transparent eyelids. Linda explains that he can still see because his eyelids are invisible. Stunned, Sebastian walks to a mirror to confirm his transformation before joining Linda and Matt, where the rest of the team marvels at his invisibility. While Sarah sleeps, Sebastian approaches her, caressing her hair to see if she's awake. He unbuttons her shirt and touches her inappropriately. When Sarah wakes, she notices her shirt undone and asks if Sebastian is in the room. She checks the monitor, sees his bed empty, but Sebastian quickly returns and lies down. The next morning, Sarah shares her suspicions with Linda and Matt, but asks them not to confront Sebastian until she's sure. When Matt questions Sebastian, he claims he just went out for coffee. 3 days later, during the reversal attempt, Sebastian begins to struggle violently, breaking free of the restraints. He throws Carter and Matt aside, his body briefly becoming visible before collapsing unconscious. After CPR, his pulse returns, and he turns invisible again. Waking later, Sebastian insists on making adjustments to function better while invisible, so the team creates a latex mask for him. After 10 days of confinement, Sebastian grows frustrated and sneaks out while Carter is on watch. He frightens 2 kids on the road before heading home. At his apartment, he spies on his neighbor as she changes, sneaks into her home, and assaults her. Linda arrives at his apartment, finding his mask and clothes. Back at the lab, Sebastian claims he only went home for belongings. Linda warns him she'll report him if he leaves again. Later, Sebastian admits to Carter he assaulted the woman and enjoyed it. Frustrated by a failed breakthrough, he vents to Linda, saying he's a prisoner while she and Matt remain free. That night, Sebastian sets up a video loop of himself sleeping in his room and leaves for Linda's apartment. There, he discovers that she's dating Matt. As they begin to make love, Sebastian interrupts by breaking a window. Linda calls the lab, but Frank confirms Sebastian is still in bed. Enraged, Sebastian returns to the lab, where he becomes annoyed by the barking of an invisible dog. In a fit of rage, he kills the dog by slamming it into the walls of its cage. When Sarah confronts him, he claims he was asleep when it died. The team reviews the footage and realizes that Sebastian never left his room. Later, Linda hears strange noises at home and rushes to the lab, where she sees Sebastian in bed on the video monitor but doesn't find him. She figures out he's been running a video loop and alerts the team. Meanwhile, Sebastian watches them arrive from the parking lot. Linda and Matt visit Dr. Kramer, unaware Sebastian is following them. After they leave, Sebastian attacks Dr. Kramer, drowning him by the pool. The next day, Linda finds out about the murder and tries to call another committee member, but the phone lines are cut. The team discovers their access codes have been revoked. Sebastian kills lab tech Janice by strangling her with an IV line. Linda tries to warn him over the intercom, but he reveals he killed Dr. Kramer. Using thermal goggles, the team tracks Sebastian, but he evades them, injuring Carter. In the end, Sebastian kills Sarah after she uses blood to track his movements. Carter dies from blood loss while Frank waits for Sarah's return. Frank leaves Carter's body and joins Matt and Linda to search for Sarah. They discover Sarah's body in the walk-in fridge, and Sebastian appears, stabbing Frank with a crowbar before attacking Matt. He locks Matt and Linda in the fridge. Sebastian prepares to escape, but Linda patches up Matt's wound and breaks out of the fridge. She drags Matt to safety, lighting a fire to warm him. Sebastian, determined to destroy the lab, gathers chemicals to create an explosive. He sets the timer and heads for the elevator, but Linda stops him with a flamethrower, setting him on fire. Sebastian sheds his burned clothes and becomes invisible again. Linda activates the sprinklers, but Sebastian ambushes her. Matt, now conscious, knocks Sebastian out with a crowbar. In the struggle, Sebastian gets electrocuted, briefly becoming visible. Matt and Linda find the bomb and rush to the elevator. As they climb, the bomb explodes, sending the elevator upward and injuring Linda. They try to climb again, but Sebastian pulls Linda back down, and they fall onto the elevator, which is hanging by a wire. Linda disconnects the wire, sending Sebastian to his death. Linda and Matt escape the burning lab. Sebastian's arrogance, jealousy, and obsessive ambition led him to violence, murder, and his ultimate demise. If not for Linda and Matt, he would have succeeded in destroying the lab and covering up his crimes.